Hi, everybody. It's your girl, Tawana, your next big move catalyst. And you know what I do? I help entrepreneurs move from idea to implementation. So what does that mean exactly? It simply means I help folks get stuff done. So today, what I want us to do is share just a little bit of information about two of the most commonly used pricing structures in service-based businesses. And that is project-based pricing versus time and materials-based pricing, okay? So with both of them, you're still going to always make sure that you are pricing for value, you're pricing for results, and you're pricing for your experience, right? So you're pricing for all of the secret sauce that you're bringing to a business through your service, whether you're doing project-based or time and materials-based, right? So that's probably how you're going to set up the foundation as you get started with creating your pricing structure, no matter which one of these you use. So with project-based pricing, project-based pricing is typically the easiest, I think, for clients to receive, right? It's easier for them to know exactly what you're going to do at a particular price point. So within project-based pricing, whether it's a package that you always sell or whether it's a package that you're creating just for a particular client, you're going to be including how much time you think it's going to take you to complete the project. You're going to include all of the deliverables that you will produce, or maybe you and your team will produce throughout the project. You're going to include your check-in points. So that's all of your meetings and things of that nature. All of that goes into the number that you will quote your client. So you want to be able to, this is when you really want to be able to make sure you're able to express the results that you're bringing. So you can do this whether you are a makeup artist or whether you're a project manager like myself, right? So if you are a makeup artist, hairstylist, or anything like that, and somebody hires you to work with them at a photo shoot, right? So you're saying for an hour of service, I'm going to, I'm bringing all of the materials. All you have to do is show up with a fresh face. I will stay on site for one or two, or for your main makeup look, and then we can do refresh color change on eyeshadows, lipsticks, and things of that nature, if that's your business. If you are a photographer, you would say, okay, for a 2-hour session, I will pick the location. You can have 3 wardrobe changes, and all of these other things. I'm going to provide all of these things in this particular time period for this amount of money. If you are a project manager like myself, you will say, I will devote, 20 or 30 hours to this project. We will have weekly check-ins that are 30 minutes or an hour long. I will do daily check-ins with your team. These are the deliverables that we will reach. I will create the project schedule. I will manage the budget. These are reports that you get back from me, and you'll get all of this at this price, right? For the duration of the project, or however it is that you would have hired me to work with you, right? So this makes life easy for everyone because the client knows exactly what they're getting. You know exactly what you're providing. It's almost as if you have something to check off. I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. They are able to then say, yep, she's done this, she's done this, she's done this, and this is the amount of money that we've assigned to this project. There's no sticker shock at the end. No one gets to say, oh my gosh, I didn't know that it was going to cost this amount of money for you to do or for you to provide this service. Which then takes me over to time and materials, because with time and materials, sometimes people do get sticker shock when it comes to that particular pricing structure. With time and materials, it is strictly trading time for dollars plus any extra expenses that you're going to incur. So if we go back to the whole makeup artist thing, if you were a time and materials, you would charge them for the time that you're with them. You would be charging them for all of the makeup and stuff. Like if you purchase anything special for them, you'd be charging that back. You'd be charging for mileage, all of those types of things, right? So when I was in corporate America working as a project assistant, project coordinator, the company that I worked for, they billed my clients as time and materials. So they billed for the time I spent working on projects for individual clients, and then any materials. So that could be whether I was traveling back and forth to a meeting for mileage, it was whether I went and purchased anything on the client's behalf, and things like that. So sometimes in business, there is a reason that you will need to do both. Oh, let me rewind. The biggest thing with time and materials, or the biggest cons I see with those, which would be negatives, not that anybody is like running a scam or anything, but is sticker shock for clients if you have gone over and beyond what they perceived was how long it should have taken you to do something. So if you're creating a website and they think that a website should only take you 2 or 3 hours, and you bill them for 15 hours because that's how much time you spent doing all of the things that they needed you to do, that discrepancy then sometimes can create some friction between you and the client, where you having to explain your time away, explain why there was a disconnect and how long it was going to take to accomplish a certain task. Okay. So with time and materials, it requires a lot of time management on both the service provider, which is you, and on the client's end. So when you're working in a time and materials situation, I think that it's very important to keep them more in the loop on how much time you're spending on a fairly regular basis. Depending on what it is, that might be daily or every other day, but I definitely don't think several days should go past without them understanding where you are in the in how much time you're spending on the task or project that they've given you, because you always want to make sure that at the end of the day, you don't have a big issue with your invoice and then them not paying your invoice. Like, that is never a good feeling. So time and materials definitely requires a lot of time management on both people's ends, because when you're managing the time, that also means that you're managing the budget as well, because they probably allotted a certain amount of money that they wanted to spend on a project, and if you're going over that, then that then puts them in a sense of distress that they're going to send over to you, and that's never a good feeling. Okay, so now fast forward back to what I was going to say, which is sometimes when you are bidding on projects or creating proposals, there may be a reason for you to actually do a combination of both. That you may want to start out with having your project-based pricing. So again, that's the price with all of the deliverables that you plan to do at this price. But then if there's a reason that you need to then do time and materials, maybe they want one of your team members to work on something, or they may have something that they want you to do that's kind of outside of the scope of the project, and it's something you agree to, but it makes more sense to do it as time and materials instead of project-based. So sometimes there's a reason that you want to do both of those. In the project world, especially for me, I do that under the frame of change management. So I'm going to give you a price for managing a project or creating a project schedule or what have you. And then if you want to make changes to that, right, that's going to come at a different fee. Or if you now want me to do some things and it's within my skill set and it's actually something I want to do, then I may have to then give you a quote as if I come in to actually do some of the things and not manage some of the things, that we're going to do that at a separate price. And that pricing may be a time and materials type of thing. So I've had clients who have live events and they want me on site, right? So normally I'm project-based because it makes my life easier, it makes their life easier, and I just like to do things as easy as possible. However, when I'm stepping outside of my role and you're asking me to now be live at an event, then I may charge you back for mileage. I may charge you for the time that it took me to drive to said event, or whatever the case may be. So that's where sometimes it may work in your best interest and in the interest of your client, if it's something they really need from you, to do a combination of both. So both of them are very, very popular in the service-based industry. I know that most coaches or consultants, while they don't necessarily call it that they're doing project-based pricing, that is what they're doing. When they're telling you that you're going to get a 2-hour intensive and we're going to cover these things in the intensive for this price, or you're going to get a full VIP day with me and we're going to cover these things in this 6 or 8 hours. I'm going to provide you with X, Y, and Z. When you walk away, this is what you get, and this is the amount that I'm charging you. That is project-based pricing. Okay, so that's why I say it is most common. Time and materials, you'll see that a lot with virtual assistants. Especially if you're working with virtual assistants that are outside of the US. They're simply trading time for dollars. And then if they're having to invest any of their money into resources to complete tasks for you, then they're going to give you that charge back, that reimbursable client expense. I'm sure many of us who do a little bit of bookkeeping are very aware of that line item. So, or in the past, when I've built websites for people, if I've gone ahead and purchased the domain, if I purchased their theme that we're using on their website, if I had to purchase any plugins or anything like that to make my life easier to accomplish the task, that part, right, was the client chargeback. Sometimes that could be time and materials or just materials, but actually building the website was project-based. So hopefully you found this a little bit, not a little bit, listen, I bring lots of value to the table. So hopefully you found this valuable, especially as you're looking at your own pricing structure, how you got there. If you think that it's time to do some changes to your pricing structure, give yourself a raise, check out my free checklist on pricing for profits. You should see that scrolling across the bottom of your screen right about now, after I do a little bit of editing. So until next time, guys, I am wishing you a productive and profitable day.